I'm doing a video on the installation of the Simpsons TV software. It is a astonishingly long and tedious process, and if you're not into that, or you don't need to know how to install the, look at this, that's my notes. I would recommend making notes. Seriously, it's the only way I sort of got through it. But anyway, it's a extremely long and tedious process, and as I said, flee now if you have no interest in this. So let's start with the basics. This isn't Windows. This is Kubuntu, just a Linux version of Linux that I use occasionally. I was not going to attempt this in Windows, and I'm not particularly proficient at Linux. But it seemed the logical choice for this particular project, and I'm glad I chose it. So my instructions are obviously going to be, this is how I did it. If you're going to do it another way, you're on your own. I mean, I wouldn't personally do this in Windows. However, let's start with somebody asked me that they were having trouble with the conversion of the files, which is something you can do before you sort of do anything else. One thing you are going to need is you're going to need to install what's it called? You're going to need to install ffmpeg, because that won't be pre-installed on Windows or Linux. Installation process is pretty straightforward. I'm not going to go through it. However, you know, if you just follow a guide on installing that first, because you need to have that to convert the videos. So that's stage one. How to install and use ffmpeg on Ubuntu. Anyway, so install that first. Here's a folder I created for encoding videos. This is just keep wanting to call him Bubba447, but it's Brandon Withrow. Just call him Brandon, right? This is Brandon's code here to encode the video. So I've just put it in a folder. If we have a quick look at the code, it's very simple, really. He's just basically, it looks for files. They've got to be in these formats, so either AVI, MOV, MKV, or MP4. So they've got to be in that format for it to do anything with them. Then it basically converts them into the right what do you call it, aspect ratio. Can't remember what else it does. Doesn't matter. Not a coder, like I said. So let's grab a couple of videos, stick them in there. These ones are actually the right format. They're actually, sorry, the right resolution anyway, but it doesn't matter. It'll just re-encode them. So I did an encoding text file to remind me how to do it. See, do notes. Leave yourself notes. You're not going to get through this otherwise. So I need a terminal. I'm going to open a terminal inside that folder and just paste the, likes doing that. Paste the command. Oh, that's another thing, is you need Python installed. See how difficult this is? So you need Python installed and ffmpeg installed. If those two are installed, then I press this button. That's me for admin, and then it's going to encode them. It did it really quickly because they're small files and they're actually the right aspect ratio anyway, they're the right size and everything. So it hasn't actually, don't think it's actually done anything to them. Oh, yes, it has. They have been reduced slightly. Right, so those are now the encoded files, and these will be able to, the Simpsons TV software will be able to play those. So that bit's pretty easy. Let's just get rid of that. Then what's next is the installation of the main sort of operating system. There's a new version. Go on. No, actually, I've changed my mind. It can't be bothered. So we choose an OS. This is the, I've got the SD card and plugged into the machine. It has got stuff on it, but I'm just going to overwrite it. So we need to choose the OS. We're going for the light. Oh, what's going on here? There's more choices now. Legacy. Oh, that's the Buster version, which is now Legacy, is it? Oh, they're on Bullseye. Oh, God. Let's refer to the guide. I have heard a rumor that Bullseye stops the player working. I don't know if that's true or not. What does he say? Tools needed. Blah, 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 blah. Don't need that, don't need that. Video encoding, just done that. Yes, probably don't have it installed. That's it, install it. Don't miss that step. Digger, 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 digger. Okay, done that. Right. So what's he saying then? Find the, yes, there we go, Buster. Yeah, I think if you don't use Buster, I seem to sort of remember that somebody was saying if they install Bullseye, the newer one, the video player doesn't work. So anyway, let's do the light version of the Buster one. Choose a storage. Yep, right. Yes. Password. Okay. Okay, so the OS has been written to the SD card. So we need to do a couple of things. Here's the SD card. We need to do a couple of things just to get the screen running. I'm using the WaveShare screen, not the Iunka screen, not the original screen. Those are sold out, I think, within the first, well, few days, I think it was, or let's say a week. So I'll be following Brandon's updated guide. He has two guides. The original one for the Iunka. So I mean, if you do have that screen, you know, that you just follow this guide, and then if you have the WaveShare, the new and improved, and good on him for doing that, because obviously people are just, they couldn't do anything. You know, they're on their own with the WaveShare screen, and I was personally having trouble getting the sound working. I just couldn't get the sound working. The screen itself, the visuals, you know, video is fine, but anyway, cut to the chase. Right. So I'm using the WaveShare screen, but the general gist of this will be applicable to both. So what we need to do now is set up the, I'm not sure that you call them drivers, but we need to set up the software for the display, which is, he's got a link there. I've already downloaded those 3 overlay files, so let's put those in. Go in the overlays folder. Here they are, ready. Let's grab those. Stick them in the overlays. There they are down the bottom. Right, that's that done. Close that, go back to the boot. We need to copy the second part of the setting up the display is to add something to the config file. So there it is. I don't know about the rotate there. I mean, I've got a funny feeling that should be on 3 rather than 1, but it doesn't matter. We can always change that, but that's the, need to copy that into the config file. There you go. Save that. So the next stage is to set up Wi-Fi so we can remote into the Pi and not have to just type every command in there, which would just it's possible, but you'd be there forever basically. So we need to set up Wi-Fi and then remote into it. Now the way Brandon does it is he creates on the SD card. He creates a file there. Anyway, it's in the guide. He creates a file, WPA, blah blah blah, cuts and pastes that into it. Now I know theoretically I should just be able to change that to my country GB, put in my network name and my password, and it should work. Obviously, then you've got to sort out the SSH file as well. But every time I try this, it doesn't work. So I mean, you create a file here, basically, blah blah blah. I'm not going to do it. So it doesn't work. So the way I do it is I temporarily connect a keyboard to the Pi, and I just use the Raspberry Pi configuration tool. So I use that command, sudo raspi-config, and you can set up Wi-Fi in there. So I just set up my Wi-Fi in there. The next stage is I refer to the notes. The next stage is I need to set up SSH as well, using these two commands. Enable SSH, type these two lines. So that's the two things that I set up directly on the Pi using a keyboard, and after that I'll just remote into it. The other nice command is the host name as well. So if you are going to do it my way, you need that command there. Set up the Wi-Fi. Don't worry about me having a password in there. That's not even current anymore. So, oh yeah, I tended to do an update, but I'm not going to do that this time. So just set up the Raspi config, set up the Wi-Fi in there. You will need to do these two here, which is set up the SSH so you can connect it, and you obviously need your the IP address of the Raspberry Pi. So that gives you the IP address. So I'm going to go off and do that, and then I'll come back. Right, I set up the network name and the password, and I set up the SSH service. So we should be able to, I've done nothing else, disconnected the keyboard, and we should be able to remote into the Pi now. So I use Remina, this one, Remina, as the remote client, I suppose you call it, remote desktop client. So just pop in the IP. Great. So we're in. We just need to put in the default username password, which I've not changed. They make a big deal about changing that, but to be honest, at the end of this, I'll be disconnecting. I'll be turning off the Wi-Fi because it slows things down. You don't need it. But anyway, sorry, I'm rambling again, right? So Pi Raspberry, which is the default username password for the Raspberry Pi. And we're in. So this makes life so much easier. We can we're just remoted into it. We can copy and paste commands directly in there now. So let's see what is next on the list. So we've done all that, set up software. Actually, what we do need to do is the update, really. So we'll do that one. So let's see how easy this is now. We can just paste the command in and get the updates for the operating system. This might take for quite a while, so probably fast forward. Actually, I've just realized that Brandon has a slightly different command for the updating of the operating system. He's got this extra bit at the end there, allow release info change. I don't know what that does, but I'm gonna just play it safe, and I'm gonna run that one. see if it does anything different. Release info change. After we've completed that, the next one is the USB mount, which is going to mount, I believe it's software that allows you to, it's software that allows the Pi to read files from the SD card. So are we ready for that? Yes, we are. Paste. This one's a quick one. Check my notes. Yep. I mean, that's my next one. Oh yeah, the private mounts thing. Continue. Yes. Oops. Undo that. Yes, there. Now, does he do the private mounts thing? Yes, he does. So we're sort of, I'm using my notes, but I'm just double checking that we're on par with his notes. So that's the USB mount installed. So you need to change private mounts. Change private mounts. I'm looking right at it. Okay, so we need to change that to a no. And then we Control X. Yes. And enter. And this is why you keep notes. Enable audio. Well, what's his next stage? Announce. Okay, this is new. This package lets us control the GPIO pins on the Raspberry Pi. This wasn't part of the other install process, I don't believe. No, he just changed the GPIO pins in the just remapped them in the config file. So I don't know. Well, let's go ahead and install it. This is because the WaveShare screen has a different. The pins are obviously arranged differently. I mean, I was having trouble getting audio out of it, to be honest. Couldn't figure it out. What's next? And a reboot. Okay. I love his chirpy way of writing. Phew, okay, we're making our way through. Take a break. I can't. Enabling audio. Now you need to configure a few things for the boot process to enable the audio output. Reconfigure some GPIO pins. By default, the Pi 2, yeah, I know all that. Oh, of course, I rebooted. Okay. So in the previous setup, we just changed remapped some pins to get the audio out. So what's the new process? Oh, this looks similar. Okay. The following at the bottom enables the audio, routes the audio to GPIO pin 18 and 19, which is it's the same command. Slightly worrying. Okay. It's the same. It's exactly the same as the previous guide. Okay. Control X. Oops. Freaking hell. Yes. So add the following lines at the bottom of the file right before the exit. That is different. That's definitely different to what we had before. So Control X, Y, enter. Because before it was this malarkey. So I don't know. Maybe you just didn't change the text there, or maybe I'm getting it wrong. So need some changes in the command line to stop, disable any kind of screen blanking. This is probably the same as before. It's quiet boot. Okay, that sort of carries on across the screen there. Change TT1 to TT3. Is that the same? Yes. Three. Remove the repair parts. Is that what he says? Yeah. Let's see if he says all that stuff. I think I added the log level. I don't know if he doesn't bother with that, but I'm going to add that anyway. Okay. X, yes, enter. Okay, so next stage is we need to install some programs and obviously some of his scripts. So we need the OMX player first. Just pop that in. This is the obviously the plays the videos. Yes. Buster. As I said, I heard there was problems with this OMX player with the latest operating system. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that's just a temporary thing. I don't know. This is all like confusing to me. Next one is after this one is Git, which I believe it's just a program that allows us to get scripts, download scripts, for example, from GitHub. Or maybe just that's all it does. I don't know, but we will need that to install his script or scripts. And then FBI is the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which will no, it's not. It's a ridiculous naming there. I mean, it's something that displays logos. It's not part of his. It's not part of his process, but I have it in there because I like a holding logo between. Well, it's there during boot up, and it's also there in between the video. So it's a splash screen, and I'm definitely running that. This is taking a while. So we're on 16. My notes go to, look at all this, my notes go to 22, 21. There are some, right at the bottom, there are some services that after everything's up and running that I start disabling some services basically to speed things up. Because you don't really want to have, once you've finished with this thing, that's it. It's very unlikely to take it apart and adapt it to something else. You might change the videos, but there we go. So really just turn off the Wi-Fi, turn off the Bluetooth, turn off the Wi-Fi, because they're only going to slow the boot up process, and you're never really going to need them. In fact, it's the worst thing it could do is to log into your Wi-Fi and try and auto update. Anyway, next one, to install, that should be pretty quick. I am following his guide. Yes, it's just I'm using my own notes. Well, the FBI is one extra step there. Anyway, disabling things will speed up the boot up process. Theoretically, if you were any good at this, you could probably get the thing booting instantly, but it's beyond my capabilities. Way beyond, because you'd create your own custom install, your custom OS. You don't, half the stuff is not needed. Blah blah blah. Right, FBI, next one, paste. So we're getting there. Yes, sorry. Yeah, it's different color writing. That's the way you know it definitely is the Federal Bureau of Investigations. Right. Then we install his script. I'm going to make sure he hasn't changed the sudo cpr. Oh god, missed a stage. So his script, yeah, there we go. This downloads, I believe it's 2 scripts. A button script, I can't remember now. It's two scripts. Yeah, the button script and the, no, I can't remember. Right. Sorry. Actually, do we do, I can't remember now. Copy. Does that work? No. There we go. Let's download his script. Transfer videos. Transfer videos. So we gotta get our videos. Let's just close that. From here, pop these on an SD card. Where's my, there it is, mount. Android, all photos. Yeah, actually, I could just, I don't know what they're doing in there, screenshots. Oh, there's a bunch of videos in there already, so I'll leave those. I mean, you would take your encoded videos, grab those, and pop them into a folder, vids, or whatever you want to call it. But mine are already on the SD card. So that's the that's just plugged in a USB into the secondary port on the Pi, and we now need to, oh god, change directory to the Simpsons TV video directory on the SD card. Oh, that should be in a folder called encoded. Yeah, media USB encoded. How about vids? Let's try that. Pretty sure it was on. But I should have done it. Yeah. Oh, I've got a screenshot on there. That doesn't matter. Okay, so that's fine. Videos are on there. They've transferred from the thumb drive. And what's next? Is anybody still watching this? Right. Probably take some time. Now we're at the final stages. Yeah, I wish that was true. Okay, let's check the notes. 18, set up the services. So we need to set up the button service. These are the same, probably. Yeah. So we transfer the videos. Change directory. Is that right? Yeah. I'm assuming that, yes, we don't want to do the button services in that directory. Well, I don't know. See, I don't know what I'm talking about. Copy and paste. Set up the service. Undo. Undo. Copy. Okay, so we got to, now we need to paste this into there. I'm going to just check because probably better to grab it from here because things may have changed. Looks the same. Okay, so X, Control X, Y, enter. That service is done. Now we need the, so that was the TV button. Now we need the TV player service. That creates it. Now we edit it. Done it again. I don't believe it. Okay, let's just check the notes. Let's just cut and paste it. Don't think that's probably not changed. Yeah, it seems the same. Control X, Y, enter. What's next? Splash screen. Now this is my own particular one. And you know, you don't need this. Unless you want a splash screen, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, if you pause the video, I guess you could copy that. Copy, paste, Control X, Y, yes. That's the 3 services set up. Enable the services. Check the notes, check the notes. Yep. Enable the services. Obviously, he's only got 2 services and I've created a third one, but no biggie. Sorry, these are, did I say create, enable? Now, I've got shut down now. What's he got? Shut down. Shut down. Shut down. Now, if you wanted the splash screen, this is when you'd have to move it over. So we have to, I mean, like I'll take you through it. I'm going to basically Pi shut down now, take the SD card out, plug it back in the computer. Mount. Should I move the Splash PNG logo? I've got a backup here. Copy. I'll just put it on a desktop. What? Thanks, wine. Yeah, I don't need it. Right, shut down and move the splash load to the SD card, insert card in the computer, open console on in the root opt. I bet you I'm going to click on the wrong one. Go in there, open a terminal. Mine's on the desktop. Here we go. Lovely. Come on, ready. There we go. Oop. And there it is. So I got the splash screen on the SD card now. I think that's all I need to do. Insert the card and test if it works. Protect file system. Oh yeah, then we're just getting onto the disabling of services then. Right, so theoretically that should work. Get rid of that. Save to remove. Right, so let's see what's happening. I've just plugged just going to plug this in. There's no sound obviously connected yet. I'm really hoping that that's going to work, but we'll see what it's doing. I did notice, I just booted up a second ago, and I did notice that I believe the screen rotate should be on 3 rather than 1 to get it, because if you get it in the case and it's on 1, it's going to look wrong. It's off to one side. So anyway, my personal opinion is that the rotate should be on 3. The other thing is, what did I show you what it's doing? It's still got the screen cover on it, so it's all looking a bit nasty, but that's just the plastic there. So have I got this? Yeah, here we go. I getting this flickering thing on there, which I'd never sort of had before. There's a bit of flickering, but I'm going to try and resolve that. I've also got that login thing, which I can get rid of. I've got to disable logging, but the boot up was quite slow as well. That's why you want to really add some optimizations there. But as you can see, this is the card I've just formatted and installed all that gubbins on there, and it's working. So I don't know if we're going to sit there and watch this advert. Well, let's just see what happens between the second clip. Yeah, so we want to get rid of the ugly login bit, and we want to see if we can speed things up, and maybe by disabling a few things, maybe that sort of stuttering at the beginning is going to go. So let's see what happens. Okie dokie. So pretty happy that the thing works. Can't have made any major mistakes, I would imagine. And apart from that, let's see, the flickering's a little worrying. What are we doing? Forgotten. Okay, so yeah, I mean, his guide then goes on to the soldering and the audio circuit, which I'm not going to go through. I think if you, I'm not going to say anything nasty about that, but if you know, the soldering's actually, if you've never soldered before, it probably is a difficult bit. I should watch what I'm saying, really. Anyway, so I was only going to do the software side of things, and so we're going to try some optimizations. These ones I tried these before, kind of trial and error stuff. So what have we got? First thing is obviously that hideous login text needs to go. Where are my notes? Disable Wi-Fi. Well, I don't want to disable Wi-Fi immediately. Sorry about this. It's very unprofessional. Right, let's log in. Let's log into the Pi, which is on at the moment. Come on. Oh, are you kidding me? As I said, I mean, you don't really want any of this stuff on. Once you've built the TV, you don't want anything on. You don't want it connecting. You don't want it looking around and disable the login. Here we go. Start with that. Boom. That's gone. Now disabling services. Disable Wi-Fi. Overlay Pi disable Wi-Fi. I don't know about this. Worry me if I put these in now. Does it? Well, okay. So it's been a while. I can't remember what these do really. Yeah. Triggerhappy service. What's that? No idea. Get rid of it. It's probably going to be. Hang on, my cat. Hang on. It's probably going to be people watching this that are just going to be laughing because I don't know what I'm doing here. So if I start disabling these, the Wi-Fi should stop. Well, it probably isn't until you reboot though. I guess it's what you used to, isn't it, really? I don't use Linux very much. Right, nearly there. We're just going to do 2 more and then see what happens. Sorry about this. Right. I don't know if that does anything. Right, okay, so if we do the reboot now, let's get rid of that. Discard. The Pi's still playing videos, but still shut down actually. Okay, shut down, rebooting. Hello. Sorry, I think the sound levels are a bit high on this. Let's move it away a bit. Right, so I've done the optimizations. Let's plug it in. I've done a little cheat here because I realized that I was actually using the Pi 1, the Pi 01, and I got a Pi 02 handy, so I'm going to plug it in. Yeah. Right. So I put it on rotate screen 3 as well. So let's see what's happened. Let's see what happens. I know that, oh yeah, it's going to look upside down, but I mean, trust me, that's the right way. See, that's the flashing's gone, the flickering's gone, the login's gone, and that's a pretty incredible boot up time. I know it's upside down. I'm not going to bend the lead just for you guys. Right, hang on a second. Let's test it again. There we go. And you know what, I think that's even like 10 seconds, isn't it? That's pretty good. Yeah, that's not bad. It's less than 30 seconds, I reckon. Anyway, so the optimizations really did help. As I said, I did cheat, but it was faster on the Pi 1 as well. They really do make a difference. It's no longer trying to connect to Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and all that garbage. So they are worth doing. Anyway, I hope that's helped somebody somewhere. What else was I going to say? Yeah, I haven't tested the... I mean, if I can get the audio out on this, I'm going to be so happy, because it was driving me absolutely up the wall. I couldn't get the audio to work on the new Waveshare screen. Don't know why. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope that helps.